Hello everyone, this is our third video for our behind the scenes sneak previews of July. This video I'm going to be talking about modeling life, just doing life for your kids. I know that this is something that needs to happen throughout the year, but I feel like in the summer when I'm not in school mode, it's a lot easier to be intentional about these things and kind of really spend some extra time maybe explaining things or just making sure that your kids are seeing you doing things that your family values is important. So something that I have recently been convicted of is reading my actual Bible instead of using the Bible app on my phone. I love the Bible app on my phone and the devotions and how it's just all there and I can just click and it reads to me, I can listen to it, but I feel like I want to model for my kids read an actual Bible. There's just something about holding the Bible, and then they look at you on your phone and they don't know you're reading the Bible. They might think you're just doing something else on your phone. So it's just a different distinction that I feel very led to make. I want them to see me reading my Bible. I want them to see me praying and journaling and having a devotional time. You can even post scripture throughout your house. We've actually anointed our house before with oil and prayer, and that's a pretty neat experience for your kids to be a part of. So something that's important to us as a family that we want our girls to actually see us living out. Another thing that's also important to us is tithing, and that is also very like behind the scenes, like digitized. The offering plates go by and not many people put in money or cash or checks anymore. They just do it all through the app on their phone, which is fine, but your kids aren't going to understand that and they're not going to see that. I think it's important to sit down as they grow up and explain, if you are a family who chooses to tithe, why you do that. Explain why, give them scripture references, and then just explain why it's important to you and just that we're called to do it. So that's another area that happens all year, but maybe over the summer when things are a little bit more relaxed, you can actually kind of draw out that conversation a little bit more. Another thing that is very easy to sprinkle throughout any day is random acts of kindness. Maybe just holding the door for someone, or saying yes ma'am or yes sir, paying for someone's groceries, even if it's just a few things, paying for all of your groceries at self-checkout even when no one's watching. Those are certain morals and character traits that I want our kids to have. You do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, not just because you won't get caught doing the wrong thing. So speaking to others kindly, giving grace, especially when you're driving and other drivers are not paying attention. Those are things that we can sprinkle throughout the day all the time. There's lots of neat ideas online where people make like little bingo cards and they do random acts of kindness. So there's lots of fun ways that you can incorporate it, or you can just be intentional to kind of explain it to your kids, and the root, like why we are kind to others even when they may not deserve it, because God is ultimately gracious to us, right? Even when we definitely don't deserve it. Another thing that I really try to model for my kids is emotional regulation. There are lots of adults who are not emotionally regulated, and it is very frustrating. There are times where you're going to lose your patience with small children, especially with teenagers, with anyone really. If you're in a space together for long enough, you're going to get on each other's nerves, and you need to be able to regulate your emotions without letting them take complete control of you and you lose your mind. So some things that I do, I take deep breaths. Instead of getting angry at my toddlers, I close my eyes, I say a quick prayer. Same reason. I might put myself in my room. Instead of sending my kids to timeout, I take a timeout because I need to calm down and kind of regroup. A quick moment of quiet and kind of like reset my soul and say a quick prayer. Those are things that I want to model for my kids so that when they're upset, they know that that's what they can do. You're not always able to remove yourself from the situation, but you can take deep breaths anywhere. You can close your eyes quick and pray almost anywhere. So there are strategies to use when you feel like you're becoming overwhelmed with emotions to kind of recenter yourself. Your brain has two parts, an emotional part and a thinking part. And if your emotions are like raging, your thinking part is not working, and you may say things and do things that you will regret later. So it's always good to just take a deep breath and kind of step back. And then the last thing I wanted to share, something else we really want to be intentional about as our family, is putting our family first. We have a rule that we don't do any kind of phones at the table. When I'm reading to my girls or we're playing in the living room, I don't have my phone. It's up on a shelf in the kitchen in the other room. If it dings, little text message noises or whatever, I don't usually go check it right away. Sometimes when the phone rings, I'll check. Sometimes I just let it go to voicemail. But being present with your kids and the people you care about instead of putting them behind the phone is a very hard thing to do, especially in our society where so many things are on our phone now. Like your whole life can be on your phone. So you've just got to be, we try to be intentional to show our kids that they are more important than our phone. We also make a point to call long distance family members and make sure our kids are connected to them as much as possible. And I encourage my oldest daughter to involve her younger sisters in play dates. So you're just modeling, showing love to others, especially your family, that family comes first, and that you shouldn't put anything other than God above your family. You shouldn't be on your phone. You shouldn't be more concerned with what's on TV than spending time with your kids. So those are things that are important to our family. Obviously, every family is different, but I think it's just nice over the summer to have that extra kind of time to really kind of drill down into some of those important areas for your family. If there's something else that I missed or that you do differently, go ahead and drop that in the comments and we can learn from each other.